Get 3 months of local news for just 99 cents a month. You'll get unlimited access to the news you need to stay engaged and connected to your community. Visit DuluthNewsTribune.com/subscribe now to get 3 months of local news for only 99 cents a month.
Hello Northlanders, it's Tuesday, July 2nd. I'm Wyatt Buckner with your Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. A man with Northland history will be competing on the upcoming 21st season of The Bachelorette, ABC's hit dating show. Marcus E. Schoberg, son of a Carlton couple, will be among 25 men vying for the heart of Jen Tran. Schoberg's official bio on the ABC website identifies him as a current resident of Raleigh, North Carolina. His occupation is listed as Army Ranger veteran, and the show calls him a real-life superhero. Dawn Schoberg, of Carlton, confirmed to the News Tribune that her son is a contestant on the show. Bachelorette viewers will meet Marcus Schoberg and his fellow contestants when the season premiere airs Monday, July 8th at 7 p.m. A Minnesota woman, Daisy Kent of Becker, had been widely expected to be this season's Bachelorette lead, but said she stepped aside due to health concerns and other considerations. Schoberg's LinkedIn profile indicates that he currently works in data engineering, having served 8 years in the U.S. Army, ending in 2019. The 31-year-old is currently studying at Harvard College, with an expected graduation date of 2025. His other educational experience, according to his profile, includes study at Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College from 2010 to 2011. If Schoberg is one of the final 4 contestants in the elimination-style reality show, the normal course of events would have Tran visit his hometown and meet people close to him. However, the nature and location of such hometown dates can vary depending upon a range of circumstances. The region's grid could face an electric capacity shortfall next summer as electricity demand grows and power plants retire, the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator warned. MISO, which oversees the grid in the central United States from Minnesota to Louisiana, said in its annual survey released last month that if 2.3 gigawatts of new capacity, the 3-year average, continues to be added annually, then the North Central region could face up to a 3.7 gigawatt shortage next summer that could grow to a 12.9 gigawatt deficit by the end of the decade. MISO said the possible deficit would be driven by the retirement of power plants and the delay of new power sources coupled with additional demand, including data centers, large manufacturing sites, increased electrification, and increased cooling demands due to the warming effects of climate change. In an alternative projection that assumes 6.1 gigawatts of capacity is added annually, there would only be a 1 gigawatt shortage next summer and a slight surplus by 2027. But customers should not expect rolling blackouts next summer, a worst-case scenario when demand is too high. Emergency procedures are in place to allow for sharing power among other states, regions, and Canada if the grid gets tight or a major event happens, according to Julie Pierce, Vice President of Planning and Strategy for Minnesota Power. Pierce said the MISO survey can inform power companies' timing of maintenance projects so that a unit at power plants isn't taken offline when it is needed most. The survey will help utilities plan in the long term too. Since everyone on the grid is connected, Pierce said knowing what infrastructure other utilities are or are not building will guide its own integrated resource plan due next year. An integrated resource plan is a regulatory filing that outlines the company's expected energy demands and sources for the next 15 years. Since 2020, Minnesota Power has produced 50% of its energy from renewable sources, but Minnesota law will require 100% of the state's power to be carbon-free by 2040. However, bringing new energy sources can take time, and some projects have been delayed. Pierce pointed to Nemadji Trail Energy Center, a proposed natural gas power plant in Superior that has faced years of permitting and regulatory delays. While Minnesota Power, Dairyland Power, and Basin Electric Power Cooperative have maintained the 625 megawatt facility is necessary to provide power when solar and wind sources need backup, And as coal plants retire, opponents argue a new fossil fuel plant should not be built amid worsening climate change. After years of relative inactivity, Atlas Industrial Park is attracting plenty of renewed investment these days. The brownfield site, which was formerly home to Atlas Cement, part of U.S. Steel's long-shuttered Duluth works, soon will provide e-commerce giant Amazon with its first foothold in the Northland. Meanwhile, Second Harvest Northland aims to move into Iconic's former facility at the Atlas Industrial Park by January, after investing close to $4 million in a new 13,600 square foot freezer cooler system. Ryan Companies is developing an 18-acre site at Atlas for Amazon. Its client expects to occupy a new 54,789 square foot delivery station by 2025, with plenty of room for future growth. The Duluth Economic Development Authority approved a new agreement with Ryan on Thursday that authorizes it to deposit up to 57,000 cubic yards of soil on an adjacent property, up more than a quarter from the initially anticipated load. While the scope of the project has not been expanded, the estimated amount of infill required to accommodate the facility has grown considerably, said Emily Nygren, an economic developer for the city of Duluth. For the additional storage, Ryan has agreed to pay $10 per cubic yard of soil, 10 times as much as originally bargained. The new Duluth facility is expected to be the final stop for deliveries within about 45-mile radius. Amazon has remained quiet about the details of the operation, but similar facilities elsewhere in the nation employ upward of 100 people. In other action, DITA released any claim it could have exercised over the former Iconics Corp site at 2302 Commonwealth Avenue, purchased by Second Harvest for about $6.7 million nearly 2 years ago. The facility was built in 2008, and under the terms of an original development agreement, the title to the building could have remained encumbered but for the recent acknowledgement by DITA that the terms of the contract had been fulfilled. Second Harvest is raising funds to modify the facility, said Shay Morris, the organization's president and CEO. When the new facility is ready, Second Harvest will relocate from its current operation at 4503 Air Park Boulevard, more than doubling its footprint to about 63,000 square feet. In January, Second Harvest Northland merged with its Grand Rapids sister, adding 7 north-central counties to the 8 it already served to the east. Second Harvest directly employs 31 people across the region and supports a number of other businesses, annually pouring about $5 million into the local economy. Region-wide, Morris figures the organization supports about 70,000 food-insecure residents in a year. Dan Williamson now joins us with a special guest.
Thank you very much, Wyatt. I'm joined by one of our colleagues, Duluth News Tribune arts and entertainment reporter Jake Gabler, who has a story that he's working on for the Wednesday print edition of the Duluth News Tribune. This is also a story that you can find on our website before that at duluthnewstribune.com. Jay, this is an article about a local artist that's noteworthy for not just one, but 2 reasons.
That's right. I got to talk to Lila Aboukader. That's a name that is probably familiar to readers of the News Tribune. She's been in the news before. And actually, I got to talk to Lila at first, shortly after I took this job in 2022, and knew that I was interested in talking with her about her music career, which already was successful by that point. But it turned out there was another big story involving Lila and her family. They were founding what was then a pop-up concept with Palestinian food called Palestine. Well, fast forward to 2024, and Lila has reached landmark success with both her music and her food.
And of course, Jay, you've had a chance to do a number of stories with Lila. In this case, was there anything different you learned about? What was your biggest takeaway from this particular opportunity with Lila?
Well, I was fascinated to talk with her about how she and her family are turning Palestine into a brick and mortar success. So they were hugely successful as pop-ups. They would show up at local coffee shops and breweries, and the line would start forming immediately, and they would sell out of whatever they'd brought. And now they have a brick and mortar deli in the Lakeside neighborhood. Right now it's only open 2 days a week. And Lila explained that she wanted to really focus on sustainability rather than trying to just go for it and be open as much as possible. She wanted to make sure that neither the food was compromised nor her own, life and her family's and her employees' lives, that she wanted to make sure this was an enterprise that was not going to wear people out and was going to meet the same quality standards that they'd been setting with the pop-up. So right now they're only open 2 mornings a week, and that may grow. They're thinking about adding a third day, but she said, she is in no rush to go to more hours if that can't be done in a sustainable and healthy way, which is a nice way to think about work-life balance. I appreciated that.
Absolutely. As far as our audience goes, what do you hope they get from this story?
Well, I hope they learn more about Faustine and then also about the success Lila has had with her musical endeavors, which don't necessarily feature her name prominently. She has played solo before. She's had a solo career. She's played just completely solo at sometimes, other times with a band, but it's been under her name, Lila Bukader, et cetera, et cetera. So now she has a new band, and this band has a name, Bachelorette. And she said she wanted this to be a collaborative endeavor where it's not just Lila Bukader and a band. It's a real band that composes and performs music organically. This group, Bachelorette, has actually won this year's Palomino grant. That is the $5,000 grant that comes with an opportunity to open for Trampled by Turtles at Bayfront Festival Park. So they'll be opening for Trampled this Saturday at Bayfront. And I learned from the band, one of the things that they appreciated about this band, Bachelorette, is that Lila is challenging herself, having established success as a solo singer-songwriter, kind of in the rock vein. She now wants to take on a new challenge and embrace being a part of a band in a truly collaborative sense. So they'll be playing Bayfront. They can also be seen all around town throughout the summer. You'll have many opportunities to see Bachelorette, although that Bayfront gig will certainly be special. And they will also be releasing new music in coming weeks and months.
Very cool. Jay, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Dan.
And again, you can find Jay's story in Wednesday's print edition of the Duluth News Tribune. You can also find it on our website before that at duluthnewstribune.com. Wyatt, back to you.
Thanks, Dan. Now here's a look at your forecast brought by the News Tribune's Northlandia podcast.
Good morning. Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler here. There will be some scattered showers and thunderstorms around this morning, but it won't rain everywhere, and it won't rain all day. There will be patches of sun around, temperatures warming into the mid-70s with southwest winds around 10 to 20 miles an hour for today. Tonight's forecast, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms overnight, temperatures dropping into the upper 50s, and then a nice day tomorrow with sunshine and a breezy west wind around 10 to 20, occasionally gusting a little higher. For Independence Day, showers and thunderstorms again enter the picture. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to the Northlandia podcast for their support. The bi-weekly podcast explores curious and unique stories here in the Northland. The latest episode looks at Clark, the Lake Superior shark, a wooden sculpture once intended to be burned on Lake Superior. You can find that episode and others at duluthnewstribune.com or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Jay Gabler, Jimmy Lovren, and Peter Passy. Thank you for listening to Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.